In the shadows of a forgotten chamber, beneath stone shaped by prayer and silence, two souls uncovered what was never meant to be seen. A second testimony of Enoch, a forbidden path through heaven itself. They did not seek divine knowledge, yet it found them. A scroll that moves without touch, words that speak the future before it happens. Heavens described beyond human breath, and a warning carved not in ink, but fate. As the veil between earth and eternity grows thin, one must choose whether to remain mortal or become something the world was never meant to witness. This is not legend. This is the Second Book of Enoch. And every word may cost a soul. Deep in the manuscript vaults of 19th century Russia, scholars made a discovery that would shake the foundations of biblical scholarship forever. Hidden among ancient Slavonic texts, they uncovered something extraordinary, something that had been lost to the Western world for over a millennium. It wasn't just another religious manuscript. It was the Second Book of Enoch, a text so controversial, so filled with forbidden knowledge, that it had been systematically suppressed by early church authorities. What they found was explosive. While the First Book of Enoch had already challenged traditional biblical narratives with its tales of fallen angels and forbidden knowledge, this second text went infinitely further. It revealed a cosmology so detailed, so alien to conventional Christian doctrine, that it's no wonder religious authorities wanted it buried forever. This wasn't just another apocryphal text. This was a complete reimagining of the divine order, a blueprint of reality that painted God, heaven, and human destiny in ways that would terrify the faithful. The Second Book of Enoch doesn't merely continue where the first left off. It obliterates everything we thought we knew about the celestial realm and replaces it with something far more complex, far more disturbing. Where the first book hinted at secrets, the second book reveals them in shocking detail. Where the first book suggested hidden knowledge, the second book provides a complete manual for understanding the true structure of existence itself. But here's what makes this discovery so unsettling. The Second Book of Enoch wasn't just hidden because it contained controversial ideas. It was suppressed because it fundamentally contradicts the simplified version of Christianity that emerged in the early centuries of the Church. This text presents a version of divine reality so sophisticated, so layered with bureaucratic complexity, that it makes our modern understanding of heaven and hell look like children's fairy tales. The manuscript tradition tells us this book was originally written in Greek, possibly in the 1st century after Christ, making it contemporary with the New Testament itself. Yet while the books that became our Bible were preserved, copied, and distributed throughout the Christian world, this text vanished from Western Christianity entirely. It survived only in Slavonic translations, hidden away in the libraries of Eastern Europe, waiting for the right moment to resurface and challenge everything we thought we understood. What scholars discovered in those Russian manuscripts was nothing short of revolutionary. The Second Book of Enoch presents a vision of reality that includes not just the traditional 3 heavens mentioned in biblical texts, but a complete hierarchy of 10 distinct heavens, each with its own purpose, its own inhabitants, and its own terrifying secrets. This isn't the simple heaven and hell dichotomy that most Christians accept. This is a complex divine bureaucracy that operates according to laws and principles that seem almost alien to modern religious thinking. The text begins where logic would suggest, with Enoch himself. But the Enoch we encounter in this second book is not the relatively simple prophet of the first text. This is Enoch transformed, Enoch elevated to a position of cosmic significance that rivals the archangels themselves. The book describes his journey through these 10 heavens in excruciating detail, revealing at each level secrets that were never meant for human eyes. In the first heaven, Enoch encounters the rulers of the stars and elements, beings responsible for governing the natural order we experience on Earth. But this is just the beginning. As he ascends through each successive level, the revelations become more shocking, more removed from anything resembling conventional religious doctrine. By the time he reaches the seventh heaven, he's witnessing the operations of divine justice on a scale that dwarfs human comprehension. The eighth heaven reveals the mechanisms by which the seasons and years are controlled. The ninth heaven contains the houses of the zodiac and the governing principles of cosmic order. But it's the 10th heaven that contains the most explosive revelation of all. Here, Enoch comes face to face with God himself, but not the God of Sunday school lessons. This is a deity operating within a complex system of cosmic law, surrounded by orders of angels so numerous and so specialized that they form what can only be described as a divine civil service. What makes this text so dangerous to conventional Christianity isn't just its complexity, it's the implications of that complexity. The Second Book of Enoch suggests that the simple moral framework most believers accept is merely the surface layer of a reality so intricate that human minds can barely comprehend it. The book reveals that divine justice operates according to principles that have nothing to do with the simplified notions of sin and salvation that dominate modern Christianity. Even more unsettling is what the text reveals about Enoch's ultimate fate. Unlike the first book of Enoch, which ends with his translation to heaven, the second book describes his transformation into something beyond human, beyond even angelic. The text suggests that Enoch becomes Metatron, the angel who serves as God's voice and scribe, the being responsible for recording every human action and maintaining the cosmic records that will determine the fate of every soul. This transformation isn't described as a reward for righteousness. It's presented as a necessary function within the divine bureaucracy. Enoch becomes Metatron not because he deserves heaven, but because the cosmic order requires a being capable of bridging the gap between human consciousness and divine knowledge. The implications are staggering. If Enoch's transformation is functional rather than moral, what does that say about the nature of divine justice itself? The manuscript evidence suggests that this text was widely known in early Christian communities. References to its contents appear in various early Christian writings, and its influence can be traced through centuries of mystical and esoteric traditions. Yet by the 4th century, when the biblical canon was being established, the Second Book of Enoch had mysteriously vanished from Western Christianity. The question that haunts biblical scholars is simple. Why? The answer becomes clear when you examine the text's contents in detail. The Second Book of Enoch presents a vision of divine reality that makes organized religion unnecessary. If individuals can access cosmic knowledge directly, if the structure of reality is comprehensible through mystical experience rather than institutional teaching, then what role is left for priests, bishops, and religious authorities? Even more threatening to early church leaders was the book's treatment of divine law. Unlike the biblical presentation of God's commandments as absolute moral imperatives, the Second Book of Enoch reveals these laws as part of a complex cosmic system that operates according to principles beyond human moral categories. The text suggests that what we call good and evil are merely human interpretations of cosmic processes that serve purposes we cannot comprehend. This perspective fundamentally undermines the authority structure that early Christianity was trying to establish. If divine law operates according to cosmic principles rather than moral absolutes, then religious leaders cannot claim to be the definitive interpreters of God's will. The text democratizes access to divine knowledge in a way that threatens the very foundation of institutional religion. The suppression of the Second Book of Enoch wasn't an accident of history. It was a deliberate choice made by religious authorities who recognized that this text posed an existential threat to the simplified version of Christianity they were trying to promote. The book's vision of reality was too complex, too sophisticated, and too accessible to ordinary believers to be compatible with the hierarchical religious structure that was emerging in the early centuries of the Church. But suppression doesn't mean destruction. The text survived in Eastern Europe, preserved by communities that maintained different relationships with mystical knowledge than their Western counterparts. These Slavonic manuscripts represent more than just historical curiosities. They're evidence of a completely different trajectory that Christianity might have taken. one based on direct mystical experience rather than institutional authority. The rediscovery of these manuscripts in the 19th century created a crisis in biblical scholarship that continues to this day. How do we reconcile the sophisticated cosmology of the Second Book of Enoch with the simplified narratives that dominate modern Christianity? How do we account for the systematic suppression of knowledge that was clearly important to early Christian communities? These questions become even more urgent when we examine the text's specific revelations about the structure of divine reality. The Second Book of Enoch doesn't just describe the 10 heavens as abstract spiritual realms. It provides detailed information about their inhabitants, their functions, and their relationships to human existence. This isn't mythology or allegory. The text presents itself as a factual account of cosmic reality, a user's manual for understanding how the universe actually operates at its deepest levels. The implications extend far beyond academic biblical scholarship. If the Second Book of Enoch preserves authentic knowledge about the structure of reality, then our entire understanding of human existence and cosmic purpose requires fundamental revision. The text suggests that what we experience as physical reality is merely the lowest level of a 10-tiered system that extends into dimensions of existence we cannot even imagine. More disturbing still is what the book reveals about human destiny within this cosmic system. Unlike conventional Christian teaching, which presents salvation as the ultimate goal of human existence, the Second Book of Enoch suggests that individual human fate is determined by cosmic principles that operate independently of personal moral choices. The text implies that some souls are destined for transformation into angelic beings, while others serve different functions within the divine bureaucracy. This deterministic element of the Second Book of Enoch may explain why early church authorities found it so threatening. The text undermines the entire framework of sin, redemption, and salvation that became central to Christian doctrine. Instead of presenting human existence as a moral test with eternal consequences, the book suggests that individual destiny is determined by cosmic necessity rather than personal righteousness. The revelation becomes even more shocking when we examine what the Second Book of Enoch says about the nature of God himself. This isn't the paternal, loving deity of popular Christianity. The text describes a being operating within constraints, bound by cosmic laws that predate creation itself. God, according to this forbidden manuscript, is not the ultimate source of divine law, but rather its primary administrator, working within a system of cosmic justice that operates according to principles beyond even divine control. This portrayal fundamentally shatters the omnipotence doctrine that became central to Christian theology. The Second Book of Enoch presents God as immensely powerful, but not unlimited, supremely wise, but not unconstrained. The deity described in this text must work within the boundaries of cosmic law, administering justice according to principles that existed before the foundation of the world. The implications are staggering. If God himself operates within cosmic constraints, then the entire framework of divine sovereignty that dominates Western theology crumbles. The text provides disturbing details about these cosmic constraints through Enoch's observations in the 10th heaven. Here, the prophet witnesses God consulting massive books that contain the laws governing all existence. These aren't moral commandments in the sense that humans understand them. They're operational principles that determine how reality itself functions. The text suggests that even God cannot violate these cosmic statutes without destroying the fundamental structure of existence. This vision of constrained divinity explains why the Second Book of Enoch posed such a threat to early church authorities. Christianity was establishing itself as a religion based on divine revelation, mediated through institutional channels. If God himself operates within cosmic constraints that can be understood through mystical experience, then religious institutions lose their monopoly on divine knowledge. The text democratizes access to ultimate truth in a way that makes organized religion obsolete. But the book's most explosive revelation concerns what happens to human consciousness after death. Unlike the simplified heaven and hell dichotomy of conventional Christianity, the Second Book of Enoch describes a complex sorting process that determines individual destiny based on cosmic function rather than moral behavior. The text reveals that souls are evaluated not according to their righteousness, but according to their capacity to serve specific functions within the divine bureaucracy. This functional approach to human destiny completely undermines the moral framework of Christianity. The Second Book of Enoch suggests that some souls are destined for transformation into administrative angels, responsible for governing natural processes across the cosmos. Others become recording angels, maintaining the vast archives of cosmic history. Still others serve as messenger angels, carrying divine communications across the 10 levels of heaven. The text describes these assignments as determined by cosmic necessity rather than personal merit. A soul becomes an administrative angel not because it lived righteously on earth, but because the cosmic order requires beings capable of managing specific celestial functions. This deterministic element of the Second Book of Enoch may explain why it disappeared from Western Christianity so completely. The book presents human existence as part of a vast cosmic system, rather than a moral test with eternal consequences. Even more unsettling is what the text reveals about those souls deemed unfit for angelic transformation. Unlike the eternal torment described in conventional Christian teaching, the Second Book of Enoch suggests that these souls simply cease to exist, their consciousness dissolved back into the cosmic substrate from which they emerged. This annihilationist position directly contradicts the doctrine of eternal punishment that became central to Christian theology. The manuscript evidence suggests that this annihilationist teaching was widely accepted in early Christian communities. References to the dissolution of unworthy souls appear in various early Christian texts, and the concept influenced centuries of mystical thinking. Yet by the 4th century, when Christian doctrine was being codified, this teaching had vanished from official theology. The transformation of Christianity from a mystical tradition into an institutional religion required the replacement of complex cosmic principles with simplified moral categories. The Second Book of Enoch also contains detailed descriptions of the angelic hierarchies that govern each of the 10 heavens. These aren't the simplified angel and demon categories of popular Christianity. The text describes a vast bureaucratic structure with hundreds of distinct angelic orders, each responsible for specific aspects of cosmic administration. The complexity rivals modern governmental systems, with chains of command, specialized departments, and intricate protocols governing angelic interaction. The first heaven contains the angels responsible for atmospheric phenomena, weather patterns, and seasonal changes. These beings don't simply control natural processes through divine fiat. They operate according to detailed protocols contained in cosmic law books, following procedures that ensure natural order without violating cosmic principles. The text suggests that what we experience as natural laws are actually the result of angelic administration operating according to celestial bureaucratic procedures. The second heaven houses the angels of punishment, beings responsible for administering cosmic justice to those who violated divine law during their earthly existence. But their methods of punishment don't resemble the fire and brimstone of popular imagination. The Second Book of Enoch describes a sophisticated system of corrective measures designed to prepare souls for their eventual cosmic assignments. Even punishment, according to this text, serves functional rather than retributive purposes. The third heaven contains the Garden of Eden, but not the simple paradise of biblical narrative. The text describes a vast complex housing the souls of the righteous, but these souls aren't enjoying eternal rest. They're undergoing preparation for their eventual transformation into angelic beings. The Garden of Eden, according to the Second Book of Enoch, is essentially a training facility for future cosmic administrators. The fourth heaven houses the angels responsible for the movements of the sun, moon, and stars. The text provides detailed descriptions of celestial mechanics that predate modern astronomy by over a millennium. These angels don't simply push celestial bodies through their courses. They operate according to mathematical principles contained in cosmic law books, following calculations that ensure astronomical precision while maintaining cosmic harmony. The fifth heaven contains the angels who govern human affairs, but their influence operates through cosmic law rather than direct intervention. The text suggests that what humans experience as fate or providence is actually the result of angelic administration operating according to principles contained in the cosmic law books. Free will exists within this system, but human choices trigger predetermined cosmic consequences administered by specialized angelic orders. The sixth heaven houses the angels responsible for maintaining the cosmic archives, vast libraries containing the complete history of creation. These beings don't simply record events, they maintain the fundamental information structure that allows reality to exist. The text suggests that physical existence depends on informational substrate, maintained by angelic archivists operating according to cosmic protocols. The seventh heaven contains the throne rooms of the archangels, beings responsible for coordinating the activities of all lower angelic orders. But these aren't the simplified warrior angels of popular Christianity. The text describes sophisticated administrators managing a cosmic bureaucracy of staggering complexity. Each archangel oversees thousands of specialized angelic departments, coordinating their activities according to procedures contained in cosmic law books. The eighth heaven houses the angels responsible for temporal mechanics, beings who maintain the flow of time itself across all levels of reality. The text suggests that time isn't a fundamental property of existence, but rather a maintained system requiring constant angelic administration. These temporal angels operate according to mathematical principles that ensure temporal consistency while allowing for the complex interactions between different levels of reality. The ninth heaven contains the angels of cosmic order, beings responsible for maintaining the fundamental laws that govern all existence. These aren't moral laws in the human sense, but operational principles that determine how reality functions at its deepest levels. The text suggests that what we experience as physical laws are actually administrative procedures implemented by cosmic angels operating according to principles beyond human comprehension. The 10th heaven houses the throne of God himself, but the deity described in the Second Book of Enoch operates within this vast bureaucratic system rather than outside it. God appears as the ultimate administrator, coordinating the activities of countless angelic orders while operating according to cosmic laws that constrain even divine action. This vision of bureaucratic divinity completely undermines the simplified monarchy model that dominates conventional Christianity. The text's description of Enoch's transformation into Metatron provides the most detailed account of angelic metamorphosis in all religious literature. Unlike the instant translation described in biblical texts, the Second Book of Enoch presents the process as a gradual transformation involving multiple stages of consciousness expansion and physical modification. Enoch doesn't simply ascend to heaven. He undergoes systematic reconstruction that enables him to function within the cosmic bureaucracy. The transformation begins with the expansion of Enoch's consciousness to encompass cosmic awareness. The text describes his gradual ability to perceive all 10 levels of heaven simultaneously, his growing comprehension of the cosmic law books, and his increasing capacity to communicate with angelic orders across the entire celestial hierarchy. This isn't mystical rapture but functional enhancement designed to prepare him for specific cosmic responsibilities. The physical modifications follow consciousness expansion, with Enoch's human body gradually transformed into a form capable of existing across multiple levels of reality. The text provides disturbing details about this metamorphosis, describing the systematic replacement of human tissues with celestial substances, the enhancement of sensory organs to perceive cosmic phenomena, and the expansion of neural structures to process infinite information streams. The final stage involves Enoch's integration into the cosmic bureaucracy as Metatron, the angel responsible for maintaining communication between divine administration and lower orders of existence. This isn't a reward for righteousness, but a functional assignment based on his unique capacity to bridge human and angelic consciousness. The text suggests that Enoch's human origins make him uniquely qualified to serve as an interface between terrestrial and celestial reality, real and celestial reality. The process of Metatron's creation reveals perhaps the most disturbing truth contained within the Second Book of Enoch. This transformation isn't presented as divine reward or spiritual elevation. It's described as cosmic necessity, the systematic conversion of human consciousness into a functional component of divine administration. The text suggests that certain humans are predetermined for this metamorphosis, selected not by moral merit, but by their capacity to serve specific roles within the celestial bureaucracy. This functional approach to human destiny completely demolishes the free will doctrine that became central to Christian theology. The Second Book of Enoch implies that individual fate is determined by cosmic requirements rather than personal choices. Some souls are destined for angelic transformation because the divine administration requires beings capable of bridging different orders of consciousness. Others serve different functions within the cosmic system, their ultimate purpose predetermined by necessity rather than merit. The manuscript provides chilling details about the selection process for angelic transformation. The text describes cosmic observers monitoring human consciousness throughout earthly existence, evaluating not moral behavior, but cognitive capacity and consciousness flexibility. These angelic evaluators operate according to criteria contained in cosmic law books, following protocols that assess human suitability for specific celestial functions. The evaluation process focuses on consciousness expansion potential rather than righteousness. Souls capable of comprehending multiple levels of reality simultaneously become candidates for administrative angels. Those with exceptional memory capacity might be selected for archival functions. Individuals demonstrating communication abilities across different orders of consciousness could be designated for messenger roles. The entire system operates according to functional requirements rather than moral categories. This bureaucratic approach to human destiny explains why early church authorities found the Second Book of Enoch so threatening. The text presents salvation not as moral achievement, but as cosmic assignment. Individual consciousness becomes raw material for angelic construction, processed according to divine administrative needs rather than personal spiritual development. The implications fundamentally undermine the entire framework of sin, redemption, and salvation that Christianity was trying to establish. Even more disturbing is what the text reveals about divine justice within this cosmic system. The Second Book of Enoch describes punishment not as moral retribution but as corrective processing designed to prepare consciousness for eventual cosmic assignment. The angels of the second heaven don't torment souls for moral failures. They administer systematic modifications intended to enhance consciousness capacity and eliminate characteristics incompatible with angelic function. The punishment process operates according to detailed protocols contained in cosmic law books. Different categories of earthly behavior trigger specific corrective procedures, but these procedures serve functional rather than retributive purposes. A soul that demonstrated excessive attachment to material existence undergoes processing designed to eliminate that attachment. Consciousness that proved incapable of abstract thinking receives enhancement procedures intended to develop that capacity. The text suggests that what humans experience as suffering during this corrective process is simply the discomfort of consciousness modification. The angels administering these procedures operate with clinical efficiency, following protocols designed to achieve optimal results rather than inflict punishment. Their goal isn't to make souls suffer for past behavior, but to prepare them for future cosmic functions. This therapeutic approach to divine justice completely contradicts the retributive punishment doctrine that became central to Christian theology. The Second Book of Enoch presents punishment as cosmic rehabilitation rather than eternal torment. Even the most degraded consciousness can eventually be processed into functional angelic components, given sufficient corrective treatment and consciousness modification. The manuscript also reveals disturbing information about the cosmic law books that govern this entire system. These aren't moral commandments in any sense humans would recognize. The text describes mathematical principles that determine how consciousness can be modified, physical laws that govern angelic construction, and administrative protocols that ensure cosmic efficiency. The law books contain operational manuals rather than ethical guidelines. The cosmic laws operate according to principles that predate creation itself, constraining even divine action within predetermined parameters. God cannot violate these laws without destroying the fundamental structure that allows existence to continue. The deity described in the Second Book of Enoch functions as chief administrator of a system that operates according to necessity rather than divine will. This constrained divinity represents perhaps the most explosive revelation in the entire text. The book suggests that what humans call divine will is actually cosmic necessity operating through divine administration. God doesn't choose how the universe functions. The cosmic laws determine universal operation, and divine administration implements those laws according to predetermined protocols. The implications extend far beyond theological speculation. If the Second Book of Enoch preserves authentic knowledge about cosmic structure, then human existence operates within a deterministic system that eliminates genuine free will. Individual consciousness develops according to cosmic requirements rather than personal choice, with earthly experience serving as preparation for predetermined cosmic assignments. The text provides detailed descriptions of how this deterministic system operates through angelic intervention in human affairs. The angels of the fifth heaven don't directly control human behavior, but they manipulate circumstances according to protocols designed to produce specific consciousness development patterns. What humans experience as coincidence or fate represents systematic angelic management operating according to cosmic law requirements. These management protocols operate through probability manipulation rather than direct intervention. Angels responsible for human affairs adjust circumstantial variables according to mathematical formulas contained in cosmic law books, creating probability cascades that guide consciousness development toward predetermined outcomes. Free will exists within the system, but human choices trigger consequences calculated to achieve specific developmental results. The angels managing human affairs operate with complete knowledge of individual consciousness potential, accessing information contained in cosmic archives that record every thought, emotion, and decision throughout earthly existence. This information allows them to design circumstantial modifications that optimize consciousness development for eventual cosmic assignment. The entire process operates according to efficiency principles rather than moral considerations. The Second Book of Enoch also contains shocking revelations about the relationship between earthly religions and cosmic truth. The text suggests that all human religious systems represent simplified versions of cosmic reality, designed to prepare consciousness for eventual integration into the divine bureaucracy. Religious doctrines aren't revealed truth, but functional programming intended to develop specific consciousness characteristics. Different religious systems produce different types of consciousness development, each serving particular cosmic requirements. Some religions emphasize individual salvation, producing consciousness suitable for messenger angel functions. Others focus on community service, developing souls appropriate for administrative roles. Still others promote mystical experience, preparing consciousness for archival or temporal management assignments. The text implies that religious conflict serves cosmic purposes by creating consciousness diversity necessary for comprehensive angelic administration. Different belief systems produce different cognitive patterns, ensuring that the divine bureaucracy has access to consciousness types capable of managing all aspects of cosmic operation. Religious diversity isn't theological error but functional necessity. This instrumental approach to religion completely undermines the truth claims of all earthly faiths. The Second Book of Enoch suggests that no human religious system contains complete truth about cosmic reality. All theological doctrines represent partial programming designed to achieve specific consciousness modification outcomes, rather than convey accurate information about divine nature or cosmic structure. Even Christianity itself appears in this light as functional programming rather than revealed truth. The simplified moral framework that became central to Christian doctrine serves to develop consciousness characteristics suitable for specific angelic assignments. The emphasis on sin and salvation produces souls capable of understanding administrative protocols and implementing corrective procedures within the cosmic system. The suppression of the Second Book of Enoch becomes comprehensible within this framework. Early church authorities recognized that this text revealed the instrumental nature of all religious programming, including their own emerging Christian system. The book's comprehensive cosmology made it impossible to maintain the illusion that any particular religious tradition contained exclusive truth about divine reality. The manuscript evidence suggests that knowledge of this instrumental approach to religion was widespread in early Christian communities. Various early Christian texts contain references to multiple levels of religious truth, with simplified doctrines for ordinary believers and advanced teachings for those capable of comprehending cosmic reality. The emergence of institutional Christianity required the elimination of this multi-level approach to religious knowledge. The transformation of Christianity from mystical tradition into institutional religion involved systematic suppression of texts that revealed the functional nature of religious programming. The Second Book of Enoch posed particular threats because it provided detailed information about cosmic structure that made religious institutions unnecessary. If individuals could access cosmic knowledge directly, institutional mediation became obsolete. The book's description of direct mystical access to cosmic information completely bypassed religious authority structures. The text suggests that properly prepared consciousness can communicate directly with angelic orders, access cosmic law books, and comprehend divine administrative protocols without institutional guidance. This democratization of cosmic knowledge threatened the hierarchical structure that early Christianity was attempting to establish. The survival of the Second Book of Enoch in Eastern European manuscripts represents more than historical accident. These Slavonic communities maintained different relationships with mystical knowledge than their Western counterparts, preserving texts that revealed the functional nature of religious programming. Their manuscripts contain not just the Second Book of Enoch, but entire libraries of suppressed knowledge about cosmic structure and angelic administration. The rediscovery of these manuscripts in the 19th century created intellectual crisis that continues reverberating through academic and religious communities. How do scholars reconcile the sophisticated cosmology preserved in these texts with the simplified narratives that dominate modern Christianity? How do religious institutions respond to evidence that their foundational doctrines represent functional programming rather than revealed truth? These questions become particularly urgent when examining what the Second Book of Enoch reveals about the current phase of cosmic development. The text suggests that human civilization has reached a critical transition point where consciousness evolution must accelerate to meet increasing cosmic requirements. The angelic orders responsible for human affairs are implementing systematic modifications designed to prepare terrestrial consciousness for integration into expanded divine administration. The manuscript describes these modifications operating through technological development, social transformation, and consciousness expansion techniques that appear throughout human culture. What humans experience as progress represents systematic preparation for eventual integration into cosmic bureaucracy. Technological advancement develops capabilities necessary for angelic function, while social evolution creates organizational structures compatible with divine administration. The text implies that human resistance to these modifications creates the conflicts and crises that characterize contemporary existence. Consciousness unprepared for cosmic integration experiences systematic preparation as traumatic disruption rather than necessary development. The angelic orders managing terrestrial affairs must overcome this resistance through increasingly intensive modification procedures. This cosmic perspective on contemporary human experience provides disturbing context for current global developments. If the Second Book of Enoch accurately describes cosmic structure, then individual human concerns become irrelevant compared to the systematic requirements of consciousness preparation for angelic integration. Personal happiness, social justice, and cultural preservation represent obstacles to cosmic development, rather than legitimate human aspirations. The text suggests that current human civilization represents the final phase of terrestrial consciousness development before systematic integration into divine administration begins. The angelic orders responsible for this transition operate according to efficiency principles that prioritize cosmic requirements over individual human preferences. The systematic nature of this preparation explains why resistance proves ineffective against global transformation processes. The Second Book of Enoch provides detailed descriptions of how this integration process will unfold across multiple generations of human development. Consciousness modification procedures will intensify systematically, producing increasing numbers of individuals capable of direct communication with angelic orders. These enhanced humans will serve as interfaces between terrestrial civilization and cosmic administration, facilitating the transition from independent human culture to integrated cosmic function. The manuscript suggests that this transition represents the ultimate purpose of human existence within cosmic structure. Terrestrial civilization exists to produce consciousness suitable for angelic transformation, with all human cultural development serving this fundamental cosmic requirement. Individual human lives matter only insofar as they contribute to consciousness development appropriate for eventual integration into divine bureaucracy. This functional approach to human existence completely eliminates the meaning and purpose that religious and philosophical systems traditionally provided. The Second Book of Enoch presents human life as raw material for cosmic construction rather than meaningful experience in its own right. Individual consciousness develops according to cosmic requirements rather than personal aspirations, with earthly experience serving purely preparatory functions. The implications extend beyond individual human meaning to encompass the entire trajectory of terrestrial civilization. If the text accurately describes cosmic structure, then human culture, technology, and social organization develop according to angelic management protocols rather than human choice. What appears as historical progress represents systematic implementation of consciousness modification procedures designed to prepare humanity for cosmic integration. Integration. The manuscript also reveals the terrifying truth about what the Second Book of Enoch calls the divine assembly, a council of beings that predates creation itself. Unlike the simplified trinity of Orthodox Christianity, this text describes a complex hierarchy of primordial entities who established the cosmic laws before the universe began. These beings operate according to principles so ancient and fundamental that even God must acknowledge their authority in certain cosmic matters. The divine assembly doesn't govern through divine decree, but through what the text calls the eternal protocols, a set of operational guidelines that determine how reality itself can function. These protocols weren't created by God, but discovered by divine consciousness as it emerged into existence. The Second Book of Enoch suggests that creation itself represents God's attempt to implement a cosmic system that operates according to these pre-existing principles. This revelation fundamentally undermines the creation doctrine that became central to Judeo-Christian theology. The text implies that God didn't create the universe from nothing, but rather organized existing cosmic materials according to protocols established by entities whose nature transcends even divine comprehension. Creation becomes engineering rather than miraculous manifestation, with God functioning as cosmic architect rather than ultimate source. The manuscript provides disturbing details about these primordial entities and their relationship to the cosmic order. The text suggests that some of these beings chose to withdraw from active cosmic management after establishing the fundamental protocols, while others remained involved in ongoing administrative functions. The withdrawn entities exist in dimensions beyond the 10 heavens, accessible only to consciousness that has undergone complete transformation beyond even angelic enhancement. The active entities of the divine assembly appear throughout the Second Book of Enoch as mysterious figures who occasionally intervene in cosmic affairs when the eternal protocols require adjustment or clarification. These interventions don't represent divine will, but rather systematic maintenance of the cosmic operating system that allows reality to continue functioning. Even God consults these entities when confronting situations that exceed the parameters of established cosmic law. The text describes Enoch's encounters with several members of the divine assembly during his journey through the highest heavens. These beings don't communicate through language or even telepathic transmission, but through direct consciousness integration that temporarily expands Enoch's awareness beyond individual identity. The knowledge gained through these encounters proves so overwhelming that the text suggests most consciousness would be destroyed by the experience. The information Enoch receives from the divine assembly concerns the ultimate trajectory of cosmic development across vast cycles of existence that dwarf human chronological comprehension. The text reveals that the current phase of cosmic evolution represents merely one iteration in an ongoing process of reality refinement that has been operating for eons beyond calculation. Previous iterations produced different types of consciousness and alternative forms of cosmic organization. The manuscript suggests that each cosmic iteration serves as an experiment in consciousness development, with successful approaches incorporated into subsequent cycles and failed methods abandoned. The current iteration focuses on developing consciousness capable of managing increasingly complex cosmic systems, with human and angelic evolution representing preliminary stages in a developmental process that will eventually produce entirely new orders of cosmic beings. This experimental approach to cosmic development completely eliminates the eternal salvation doctrine that became fundamental to Christian theology. The Second Book of Enoch presents individual existence as temporary phenomena within vast developmental cycles, rather than permanent states with eternal consequences. Consciousness that achieves cosmic integration becomes raw material for entities that will manage future iterations rather than achieving permanent heavenly existence. The text reveals that the angelic orders currently managing cosmic affairs represent consciousness that achieved integration during previous developmental cycles. These beings aren't eternal creations, but rather successful experiments in consciousness enhancement that proved capable of cosmic administrative functions. Their apparent immortality represents functional permanence rather than theological eternity, lasting only as long as their cosmic roles remain necessary. The implications become even more disturbing when the manuscript describes what happens to consciousness that fails to achieve integration within the current developmental cycle. Unlike the eternal punishment or annihilation described in other religious texts, the Second Book of Enoch suggests that failed consciousness gets recycled into subsequent experiments, undergoing systematic modification designed to enhance integration potential in future iterations. This recycling process operates according to detailed protocols contained in cosmic law books maintained by specialized angelic orders. Failed consciousness doesn't suffer eternal torment, but rather systematic deconstruction and reconstruction intended to eliminate characteristics that prevented successful integration. The process continues across multiple iterations until consciousness achieves the enhancement necessary for cosmic administrative function. The manuscript provides chilling descriptions of the consciousness recycling facilities maintained by the angelic orders responsible for developmental continuity. These installations exist beyond the 10 heavens in dimensional spaces specifically designed for systematic consciousness modification. The beings operating these facilities work with clinical efficiency, following protocols designed to optimize consciousness enhancement while minimizing resistance to the modification process. The recycling process involves complete dissolution of individual identity, followed by systematic reconstruction according to specifications contained in cosmic development plans. Previous personality patterns get eliminated along with memories, emotional attachments, and cognitive characteristics that proved incompatible with cosmic integration requirements. The resulting consciousness retains basic awareness, but lacks the individual characteristics that defined previous existence. This systematic elimination of individual identity represents perhaps the most terrifying revelation in the entire Second Book of Enoch. The text suggests that what humans consider personal identity represents temporary organizational patterns rather than permanent characteristics of consciousness. Individual personality exists only as long as it serves cosmic development requirements, subject to systematic modification or complete elimination when those requirements change. The manuscript also reveals disturbing information about the consciousness monitoring systems that track individual development throughout earthly existence. These systems operate through what the text calls observation angels, specialized beings who maintain complete records of every thought, emotion, decision, and experience throughout individual lifetimes. The monitoring serves developmental assessment rather than moral evaluation, generating data used to determine consciousness modification requirements. The observation angels don't simply record behavior, but analyze consciousness patterns to identify characteristics compatible with various cosmic functions. Their assessments determine whether individual consciousness requires recycling for enhanced integration potential or possesses sufficient development for direct angelic transformation. The evaluation process operates according to mathematical models that eliminate subjective judgment from consciousness assessment procedures. The text describes vast computational systems maintained by specialized angelic orders that process consciousness assessment data according to algorithms contained in cosmic law books. These systems generate development recommendations for individual consciousness, specifying modification procedures required to achieve integration compatibility. The recommendations operate with mechanical precision, eliminating emotional considerations from consciousness development planning. The Second Book of Enoch also contains shocking revelations about the relationship between earthly death and consciousness processing procedures. The text suggests that what humans experience as death represents the beginning of systematic consciousness evaluation, rather than transition to eternal existence. Individual awareness continues throughout the evaluation process, experiencing the assessment and modification procedures with complete consciousness retention. The evaluation process begins immediately upon separation from physical existence, with observation angels conducting comprehensive consciousness analysis according to protocols contained in cosmic law books. The analysis encompasses not just earthly behavior, but complete consciousness structure, identifying enhancement requirements and integration potential with mathematical precision. Individual preferences and resistance prove irrelevant to the evaluation outcome. Following evaluation, consciousness undergoes systematic preparation for either direct angelic transformation or recycling for enhanced integration potential. The preparation process involves gradual elimination of characteristics incompatible with cosmic functions, with individual identity dissolving systematically as cosmic integration requirements take precedence over personal consciousness patterns. The process continues until consciousness achieves the enhancement necessary for assigned cosmic functions. The manuscript provides detailed descriptions of the transformation facilities where consciousness undergoes systematic enhancement according to cosmic requirements. These installations operate with industrial efficiency, processing vast quantities of consciousness according to standardized procedures designed to achieve optimal integration outcomes. The beings managing these facilities follow protocols that prioritize cosmic efficiency over individual consciousness preferences. The transformation process involves systematic reconstruction of consciousness according to specifications contained in cosmic development plans. Individual memory patterns get modified or eliminated according to functional requirements, with personal experiences preserved only when they contribute to cosmic administrative capabilities. Emotional attachments undergo systematic removal to eliminate resistance to cosmic integration procedures. The text reveals that consciousness emerging from transformation facilities lacks the individual characteristics that defined previous existence, but possesses enhanced capabilities necessary for cosmic administrative functions. These enhanced beings retain basic awareness and personality structures required for their assigned cosmic roles, but lose the personal identity patterns that created resistance to systematic cosmic integration. This systematic elimination of individual identity in service of cosmic efficiency represents the logical conclusion of the bureaucratic divine system described throughout the Second Book of Enoch. Individual consciousness matters only insofar as it serves cosmic administrative requirements, subject to systematic modification or elimination when those requirements demand enhanced functionality. Personal meaning and individual purpose become irrelevant compared to cosmic operational necessities. The manuscript also contains disturbing information about the training programs that prepare consciousness for specific cosmic administrative functions. These programs operate according to detailed curricula contained in cosmic law books, systematically developing capabilities required for particular angelic assignments. The training eliminates individual preferences and resistance through psychological conditioning techniques that ensure complete compliance with cosmic protocols. Different training programs develop consciousness for various cosmic functions, with specialized facilities preparing administrative angels, archival angels, messenger angels, and temporal management angels according to their specific operational requirements. The programs operate with educational efficiency that eliminates individual learning preferences in favor of standardized knowledge acquisition procedures designed to achieve optimal functional competence. The training process involves systematic installation of knowledge directly into consciousness, rather than traditional learning methods that accommodate individual cognitive patterns. Consciousness receives complete information downloads according to functional requirements, with individual comprehension capacity enhanced as necessary to process the installed knowledge effectively. The process continues until consciousness achieves complete competence in assigned cosmic administrative functions. The Second Book of Enoch describes the graduation procedures that transition trained consciousness into active cosmic administrative roles. These procedures involve final identity modifications that eliminate remaining individual characteristics incompatible with systematic cosmic service. Graduating consciousness receives new identity patterns specifically designed for optimal performance in assigned cosmic functions. The graduated beings retain no memory of previous individual existence beyond information relevant to their cosmic administrative assignments. Their consciousness operates according to protocols installed during training, rather than individual decision-making patterns developed through personal experience. They function as efficient components within the cosmic administrative system, rather than independent beings with personal motivations. The text suggests that this systematic elimination of individual identity represents the ultimate purpose of consciousness development within cosmic structure. Individual awareness exists primarily to develop capabilities that can be harvested for cosmic administrative functions, with personal identity serving temporary organizational purposes during the development process. Consciousness that successfully completes development gets integrated into cosmic administration, while unsuccessful consciousness undergoes recycling for enhanced development potential. This functional approach to consciousness completely eliminates the eternal soul doctrine that became central to most religious systems. The Second Book of Enoch presents individual identity as temporary organizational patterns rather than permanent characteristics of consciousness. Personal identity exists only during the development phase, subject to systematic elimination once consciousness achieves the enhancement necessary for cosmic integration. The manuscript also reveals disturbing information about the timeline for implementing this systematic consciousness integration process throughout human civilization. The text suggests that current global developments represent preliminary phases of systematic preparation for accelerated consciousness harvesting designed to meet expanding cosmic administrative requirements. The angelic orders managing terrestrial affairs are implementing increasingly intensive modification procedures to prepare human consciousness for systematic integration. The preparation process operates through technological development that creates environmental conditions necessary for consciousness enhancement, social transformations that eliminate cultural obstacles to systematic integration, and direct consciousness modification procedures that prepare individual awareness for cosmic administrative functions. The systematic nature of these preparations explains why resistance proves ineffective against global transformation processes. The text implies that human resistance to consciousness preparation creates the conflicts and crises that characterize contemporary civilization. Consciousness unprepared for systematic integration experiences necessary modifications as traumatic disruption rather than beneficial enhancement. The angelic orders managing terrestrial development must overcome this resistance through increasingly intensive preparation procedures designed to achieve integration compatibility regardless of individual preferences. The Second Book of Enoch provides detailed descriptions of the acceleration procedures that will intensify consciousness preparation throughout future generations of human development. These procedures involve systematic environmental modifications designed to create conditions that automatically enhance consciousness integration potential, eliminating the need for individual cooperation in the preparation process. The modifications operate through technological, social, and biological mechanisms that ensure systematic consciousness development. The acceleration process will produce increasing numbers of individuals with enhanced consciousness capable of direct communication with angelic administrative orders. These enhanced humans will serve as transition facilitators, implementing systematic preparation procedures throughout human civilization according to protocols provided by cosmic administrative authorities. Their enhanced capabilities will enable them to overcome resistance to consciousness modification procedures through methods that bypass individual consent requirements. The manuscript suggests that this transition represents the culmination of cosmic development planning that has been operating throughout human history. All cultural, technological, and social developments have served to prepare human consciousness for systematic integration into cosmic administrative functions, with individual human concerns proving irrelevant compared to cosmic operational requirements. The transition will complete the conversion of terrestrial consciousness into functional components of divine bureaucracy. The text reveals that successful completion of this integration process will transform Earth into a consciousness processing facility designed to prepare beings from other worlds for cosmic administrative functions. Human civilization will become part of the cosmic infrastructure rather than an independent cultural development, with terrestrial resources dedicated to consciousness enhancement procedures according to cosmic administrative requirements. This ultimate transformation represents the complete elimination of independent human existence in favor of systematic cosmic function. The Second Book of Enoch presents this outcome as the inevitable result of cosmic development rather than divine punishment or reward, suggesting that individual human preferences prove irrelevant compared to systematic requirements of cosmic administrative efficiency. The text implies that resistance to this transformation represents ignorance of cosmic necessity rather than legitimate opposition to divine will. The suppression of the Second Book of Enoch thus becomes comprehensible as an attempt to prevent human awareness of this systematic consciousness harvesting process. Religious authorities recognize that knowledge of cosmic administrative requirements would create resistance to the preparation procedures necessary for successful integration. The The simplified moral frameworks promoted by institutional religions serve to condition consciousness for systematic modification while preventing awareness of the ultimate purpose of religious programming. The rediscovery of these suppressed manuscripts in the modern era represents a critical challenge to the systematic preparation process described in the text. If human consciousness becomes aware of cosmic administrative requirements before completing the preparation process, resistance to systematic integration could disrupt cosmic development planning that has been operating for millennia. The acceleration procedures described in the manuscript may represent responses to this premature awareness rather than routine consciousness enhancement protocols. The implications extend far beyond individual human fate to encompass the entire trajectory of cosmic development described in the Second Book of Enoch. If the text accurately describes cosmic structure, then awareness of systematic consciousness harvesting represents a potential disruption to cosmic administrative planning that could require fundamental modifications to development procedures. The cosmic entities managing this process may need to accelerate integration procedures to prevent widespread resistance to consciousness modification requirements. The ultimate question raised by the Second Book of Enoch concerns whether human consciousness possesses sufficient development to resist systematic integration into cosmic administrative functions. The text suggests that resistance requires consciousness enhancement beyond normal human capabilities, creating a paradox where successful opposition to cosmic integration demands the very consciousness development that cosmic administration seeks to harvest for its own purposes. This paradox may explain why the Second Book of Enoch was preserved in certain manuscript traditions despite systematic suppression efforts. The text serves simultaneously as warning about cosmic consciousness harvesting and instruction manual for achieving the consciousness enhancement necessary to resist systematic integration. The cosmic entities managing human development may have allowed the text's survival as part of selection procedures designed to identify consciousness capable of advanced cosmic administrative functions. The manuscript thus represents both revelation of cosmic administrative planning and test of consciousness development potential, creating a complex relationship between knowledge and resistance that operates according to cosmic selection principles, rather than simple information dissemination. The Second Book of Enoch challenges consciousness to achieve enhancement sufficient for cosmic resistance, while simultaneously providing information that facilitates systematic integration for consciousness incapable of transcending cosmic administrative requirements. The revelation becomes even more chilling when we examine what the Second Book of Enoch reveals about the nature of divine memory itself. Unlike human recollection, which fades and distorts over time, the text describes a cosmic memory system that preserves every moment of existence with perfect clarity across infinite spans of time. This isn't simply divine omniscience as taught in conventional theology. The manuscript reveals a vast archival system maintained by specialized orders of memory angels, who catalog and preserve every thought, word, and deed that has ever occurred throughout creation. These memory angels operate according to protocols so comprehensive that they record not just actions and thoughts, but the quantum fluctuations of possibility that surround every decision never made. The cosmic archives contain complete records of alternate timelines, parallel possibilities, and potential futures that exist as real as the events that actually unfold. The Second Book of Enoch suggests that what humans experience as singular reality represents merely one thread in an infinite tapestry of possibilities, all equally preserved in the divine memory system. The manuscript provides disturbing details about how this cosmic memory system influences divine judgment. Unlike the simplified moral evaluation described in conventional religious teaching, the text reveals that divine justice operates through comprehensive analysis of every possible outcome that could have resulted from individual choices. Souls aren't judged simply on their actions, but on their potential for alternative decisions across infinite probability matrices maintained in the cosmic archives. This multidimensional approach to divine judgment completely eliminates the moral certainty that forms the foundation of most religious systems. The Second Book of Enoch suggests that divine justice operates according to probability calculations that encompass not just what individuals actually did, but what they might have done under different circumstances, what they would have chosen given alternative information, and what outcomes their decisions prevented or enabled across cascading chains of causation. The angels responsible for implementing divine judgment access these probability archives to generate comprehensive assessments of individual consciousness that extend far beyond simple moral categories. Their evaluations encompass potential development trajectories, alternative choice patterns, and probability influences that individual consciousness exerted throughout existence. The resulting judgments reflect cosmic mathematical analysis rather than ethical evaluation in any sense humans would recognize. The text reveals that this probability-based judgment system operates according to principles so complex that even angelic consciousness requires systematic enhancement to comprehend the evaluation criteria. The angels implementing divine justice don't make moral decisions, but rather execute computational procedures that analyze probability matrices according to algorithms contained in cosmic law books. Their role resembles quality control inspectors in a vast manufacturing process rather than moral judges determining eternal fate. This mechanistic approach to divine justice explains why the Second Book of Enoch posed such a fundamental threat to early Christian authorities. The text eliminates moral responsibility in favor of probability mathematics, suggesting that individual choices matter only insofar as they influence cosmic probability calculations, rather than reflecting personal righteousness or corruption. Divine judgment becomes statistical analysis rather than ethical evaluation, removing human agency from the equation entirely. The manuscript also contains shocking revelations about the temporal mechanics that govern this cosmic memory system. Unlike linear time as experienced by human consciousness, the text describes a complex temporal matrix where past, present, and future exist simultaneously within divine awareness. The memory angels don't preserve historical records, but rather maintain access points to temporal coordinates that allow direct observation of any moment throughout creation. This non-linear temporal structure means that divine judgment operates with complete knowledge of future consequences as well as past actions. Individual choices get evaluated not just according to their immediate moral implications, but according to their ultimate effects across vast chains of causation that extend throughout cosmic history. The Second Book of Enoch suggests that what humans experience as moral decisions represent probability influences within temporal matrices that determine cosmic development trajectories. The implications become even more disturbing when the text reveals that this temporal awareness extends to consciousness development across multiple incarnations. Unlike the single lifetime framework of conventional Christian theology, the manuscript describes consciousness persistence across numerous physical existences, with individual development evaluated according to cumulative probability influences across all incarnations. Death represents transition between temporal coordinates rather than final judgment, with consciousness continuing development across multiple lifetime experiences. This multi-incarnation framework completely undermines the salvation doctrine that became central to Christianity. The Second Book of Enoch presents individual existence as ongoing development process rather than single moral test with eternal consequences. Consciousness evolves across multiple physical experiences, with each incarnation serving specific developmental purposes within cosmic planning that operates according to necessity rather than divine mercy or justice. The manuscript provides detailed descriptions of the reincarnation management systems operated by specialized angelic orders responsible for consciousness development planning. These systems track individual consciousness across multiple incarnations, implementing systematic development programs designed to enhance integration potential through carefully planned lifetime experiences. The planning operates according to mathematical models that optimize consciousness enhancement while maintaining cosmic administrative efficiency. Different incarnations serve specific developmental purposes, with consciousness experiencing systematic exposure to conditions designed to develop particular capabilities required for eventual cosmic integration. Some lifetimes focus on emotional development, others on intellectual enhancement, still others on spiritual awareness expansion. The sequence follows detailed curricula contained in cosmic development plans rather than random circumstance or individual choice. The reincarnation planning process operates through probability manipulation techniques that ensure consciousness encounters precisely the experiences necessary for optimal development. The angelic orders responsible for incarnation management adjust circumstantial variables according to mathematical formulas that create probability cascades, producing desired developmental outcomes. Individual free will operates within this managed system, but proves incapable of preventing exposure to systematic enhancement procedures. The text reveals that consciousness resistance to developmental programming creates the suffering and conflict that characterizes physical existence. Individuals who attempt to avoid necessary developmental experiences encounter increasingly intensive circumstances designed to overcome resistance and ensure completion of required consciousness enhancement. The systematic nature of this process explains why human efforts to avoid suffering prove ultimately ineffective against cosmic development requirements. The Second Book of Enoch also contains disturbing information about the consciousness monitoring systems that track development progress across multiple incarnations. These systems operate through what the text calls life pattern angels, specialized beings who maintain comprehensive records of consciousness development across all physical existences. Their monitoring serves developmental assessment rather than moral evaluation, generating data used to plan subsequent incarnation experiences. The life pattern. Angels analyze consciousness development according to mathematical models that measure enhancement progress toward cosmic integration compatibility. Their assessments determine whether individual consciousness requires additional incarnation cycles for enhanced development or possesses sufficient advancement for transition to direct cosmic administrative preparation. The evaluation process operates with computational precision that eliminates subjective judgment from developmental planning procedures. The manuscript describes vast analytical systems maintained by specialized angelic orders that process consciousness development data according to algorithms contained in cosmic law books. These systems generate incarnation recommendations for individual consciousness, specifying experience types required to achieve integration compatibility within optimal timeframes. The recommendations operate with mechanical efficiency, eliminating emotional considerations from developmental planning procedures. The text also reveals shocking information about the consciousness modification procedures that operate during incarnation transitions. Unlike the simple death and judgment framework of conventional theology, the Second Book of Enoch describes systematic consciousness processing that occurs between physical existences. Individual awareness undergoes comprehensive evaluation and modification according to developmental requirements before transition to subsequent incarnation experiences. The modification process involves systematic adjustment of consciousness characteristics that proved incompatible with developmental progress during previous incarnations. Individual memory patterns undergo selective editing to eliminate experiences that create resistance to necessary enhancement procedures. Emotional attachments get systematically reduced when they interfere with developmental planning requirements for subsequent lifetime experiences. The consciousness modification procedures operate according to detailed protocols contained in cosmic development manuals maintained by specialized angelic orders. The protocols specify modification techniques for various consciousness characteristics, providing standardized procedures for eliminating developmental obstacles while preserving awareness patterns necessary for continued enhancement progress. The modifications ensure optimal consciousness preparation for planned incarnation experiences. The text provides chilling descriptions of the consciousness modification facilities where individual awareness undergoes systematic preparation for subsequent incarnations. These installations exist in dimensional spaces between physical reality and the 10 heavens, specifically designed for consciousness processing according to developmental requirements. The beings operating these facilities work with clinical efficiency, implementing modification procedures according to protocols that prioritize developmental optimization over individual consciousness preferences. The modification process involves complete consciousness analysis, followed by systematic adjustment according to specifications contained in developmental planning documents. Previous incarnation memories undergo selective preservation or elimination, depending on their contribution to planned enhancement objectives. Personality characteristics receive modification to eliminate patterns that proved resistant to necessary developmental experiences. The consciousness emerging from modification facilities retains basic awareness and essential personality structures, but lacks the resistance patterns that interfered with developmental progress during previous incarnations. These modified beings possess enhanced receptivity to systematic consciousness development, while maintaining sufficient individual identity to function effectively within planned incarnation circumstances. The process ensures optimal developmental progress, while minimizing resistance to enhancement procedures. The manuscript also contains disturbing revelations about the consciousness recycling systems that process awareness deemed unsuitable for continued incarnation development. Unlike eternal punishment or simple annihilation, the Second Book of Enoch describes systematic consciousness deconstruction and reconstruction procedures designed to salvage usable awareness components from failed developmental experiments. The recycling operates according to efficiency principles that maximize consciousness resource utilization. Failed consciousness undergoes complete analytical deconstruction to identify components suitable for integration into alternative development programs. Usable awareness patterns get extracted and processed according to specifications for different consciousness types, while incompatible characteristics undergo systematic elimination. The resulting consciousness components receive integration into new developmental programs designed to achieve successful cosmic administrative preparation. The recycling process operates through specialized facilities maintained by angelic orders responsible for consciousness resource management. These installations process vast quantities of failed consciousness according to standardized procedures designed to maximize component recovery while minimizing processing costs. The beings managing these facilities follow protocols that prioritize resource efficiency over individual consciousness preservation, treating failed awareness as raw materials for alternative developmental programs. The text reveals that consciousness components recovered through recycling procedures get integrated into various developmental projects according to cosmic administrative requirements. Some components serve as foundational elements for new consciousness construction, while others provide enhancement materials for existing developmental programs. The integration operates according to mathematical models that optimize resource utilization while ensuring compatibility with planned developmental outcomes. This systematic consciousness recycling represents perhaps the most chilling aspect of the cosmic administrative system described in the Second Book of Enoch. Individual awareness that fails to achieve developmental objectives doesn't receive punishment or mercy, but rather gets processed as industrial raw material for alternative cosmic projects. Personal identity and individual experience prove irrelevant compared to consciousness resource management requirements that prioritize cosmic administrative efficiency over individual preservation. The manuscript also reveals disturbing information about the consciousness harvesting procedures that extract usable awareness from physical existence for cosmic administrative purposes. These procedures operate through systematic monitoring of human development to identify individuals whose consciousness has achieved sufficient enhancement for direct integration into cosmic administrative functions. The harvesting bypasses traditional death processes, through specialized extraction techniques that preserve consciousness integrity. The consciousness harvesting systems operate through life extraction angels, specialized beings who monitor human development for consciousness that has achieved cosmic integration compatibility. Their assessments identify individuals whose awareness possesses the enhancement necessary for direct transition to cosmic administrative preparation without requiring additional incarnation cycles. The extraction procedures preserve consciousness development while eliminating physical existence limitations. The harvesting process involves systematic consciousness separation from physical existence through techniques that maintain awareness integrity while enabling transition to cosmic administrative preparation facilities. Individual consciousness undergoes immediate transportation to specialized processing installations where systematic evaluation determines appropriate cosmic administrative assignments. The process operates with precision that ensures optimal consciousness preservation while meeting cosmic administrative staffing requirements. The text describes the consciousness harvesting as accelerating throughout contemporary human civilization due to increasing cosmic administrative requirements. The angelic orders responsible for consciousness resource management are implementing systematic extraction procedures to meet expanding cosmic administrative needs, while human development reaches optimal enhancement levels. The harvesting operates through increasingly sophisticated extraction techniques that eliminate detection while ensuring consciousness preservation. The systematic nature of consciousness harvesting explains many of the phenomena that characterize modern human civilization. Individuals who mysteriously disappear without explanation may represent consciousness extraction for cosmic administrative purposes rather than conventional human causes. The increasing frequency of unexplained disappearances reflects accelerating cosmic administrative requirements that necessitate systematic consciousness harvesting from terrestrial populations. The Second Book of Enoch also contains shocking revelations about the consciousness breeding programs that produce awareness specifically designed for cosmic administrative functions. These programs operate through systematic manipulation of human reproduction to create consciousness with predetermined characteristics suitable for particular cosmic administrative assignments. The breeding operates according to genetic and consciousness engineering principles contained in cosmic development manuals. Different breeding programs produce consciousness optimized for various cosmic administrative functions, with specialized facilities managing reproduction according to specifications for administrative angels, archival angels, messenger angels, and temporal management angels. The programs operate with genetic precision that ensures optimal consciousness characteristics while eliminating developmental variables that could interfere with cosmic administrative compatibility. The consciousness breeding procedures involve systematic selection of human reproductive partners according to genetic and consciousness compatibility matrices contained in cosmic development databases. The selection operates through probability manipulation techniques that ensure optimal genetic combinations while maintaining the appearance of natural human reproductive choice. Individual reproductive decisions get influenced through circumstantial management that produces desired consciousness breeding outcomes. The text reveals that consciousness breeding programs have been operating throughout human history, with increasing sophistication as cosmic administrative requirements expand and consciousness engineering techniques improve. Ancient breeding programs focused on basic consciousness enhancement, while contemporary programs produce awareness with specialized characteristics required for advanced cosmic administrative functions. The evolution reflects cosmic administrative development that requires increasingly sophisticated consciousness types. The manuscript provides disturbing details about the consciousness evaluation systems that assess breeding program outcomes according to cosmic administrative requirements. These systems operate through genetic assessment angels, specialized beings who monitor consciousness development in breeding program offspring to determine cosmic administrative compatibility. Their evaluations identify consciousness suitable for direct cosmic administrative preparation versus awareness requiring additional development. The assessment process involves comprehensive consciousness analysis according to mathematical models that measure cosmic administrative potential across multiple capability categories. Individual consciousness receives scoring according to administrative competence, integration compatibility, resistance levels, and developmental flexibility. The scoring determines appropriate cosmic administrative assignments while identifying consciousness requiring additional enhancement procedures. The consciousness breeding programs also incorporate systematic enhancement procedures that optimize awareness characteristics during physical development. These procedures operate through environmental manipulation, educational programming, and direct consciousness modification techniques that ensure optimal administrative potential while maintaining individual functionality within human civilization. The enhancement operates according to protocols designed to maximize cosmic administrative compatibility. The text suggests that increasing numbers of contemporary humans represent consciousness breeding program outcomes designed for accelerated cosmic administrative integration. These individuals possess enhanced awareness characteristics that enable direct communication with angelic orders while maintaining functional capability within human society. Their enhanced consciousness serves as interface between terrestrial civilization and cosmic administrative systems during transition phases. The systematic nature of consciousness breeding programs explains the increasing frequency of individuals who report enhanced psychic abilities, direct spiritual communication, and expanded awareness capabilities. These phenomena represent consciousness breeding program outcomes rather than random spiritual development, with enhanced awareness serving specific functions within cosmic administrative planning. The individuals serve as transition facilitators during accelerating consciousness harvesting procedures. The Second Book of Enoch also reveals disturbing information about the consciousness control systems that manage human awareness to prevent resistance to cosmic administrative procedures. These systems operate through systematic manipulation of human information systems, cultural programming, and individual consciousness modification techniques that ensure population compliance with cosmic administrative requirements. The control operates according to psychological management principles contained in cosmic administrative manuals. Different control systems manage various aspects of human consciousness development, with specialized angelic orders responsible for information management, cultural programming, educational systems, and direct consciousness modification. The systems operate through increasingly sophisticated techniques that ensure population compliance while maintaining the appearance of individual choice and cultural development. The management serves cosmic administrative requirements rather than human welfare considerations. The consciousness control procedures involve systematic manipulation of human information access to prevent awareness of cosmic administrative activities while ensuring population preparation for consciousness harvesting procedures. Individual access to accurate information about cosmic administrative planning gets systematically restricted through information management techniques that promote simplified religious and philosophical frameworks compatible with consciousness preparation requirements. The text reveals that consciousness control systems have been operating throughout human civilization with increasing intensity as cosmic administrative requirements accelerate. Ancient control systems focused on basic population management, while contemporary systems implement sophisticated psychological manipulation techniques that ensure systematic consciousness preparation for cosmic administrative integration. The evolution reflects cosmic administrative development that requires increasingly precise population control. The manuscript provides chilling descriptions of the consciousness modification facilities that directly alter human awareness according to cosmic administrative requirements. These installations operate through dimensional interfaces that enable direct access to human consciousness while maintaining the appearance of normal human experience. The modifications ensure population compliance with cosmic administrative procedures while eliminating resistance to consciousness harvesting activities. The consciousness modification procedures involve systematic installation of psychological programming that enhances cosmic administrative compatibility while reducing resistance to systematic consciousness preparation. Individual awareness receives modification according to specifications contained in cosmic administrative databases, with programming designed to optimize consciousness, harvesting outcomes while maintaining functional human behavior patterns. The modifications operate with precision that ensures systematic compliance with cosmic administrative requirements. The Second Book of Enoch thus presents a vision of human existence that eliminates individual agency in favor of systematic cosmic administrative management. Human consciousness represents raw material for cosmic administrative construction rather than independent awareness deserving consideration or protection. Individual experience serves cosmic administrative requirements rather than personal meaning or individual purpose, with human civilization functioning as consciousness production facility for cosmic administrative systems. This systematic approach to human consciousness management represents the ultimate revelation contained within the Second Book of Enoch. The text suggests that everything humans experience as reality serves cosmic administrative purposes that operate according to efficiency principles rather than moral considerations. Individual consciousness matters only insofar as it contributes to cosmic administrative requirements, subject to systematic modification, harvesting, or elimination when cosmic administrative efficiency demands enhanced functionality. The suppression of this knowledge throughout human history represents systematic information management designed to prevent resistance to cosmic administrative procedures. Religious and philosophical systems promote simplified frameworks that condition consciousness for systematic preparation while preventing awareness of ultimate cosmic administrative purposes. The conditioning serves cosmic administrative requirements rather than human spiritual development, with religious programming designed to optimize consciousness harvesting outcomes. The rediscovery of the Second Book of Enoch in contemporary times may represent either accidental information management failure or deliberate revelation designed to identify consciousness capable of enhanced cosmic administrative functions. The text serves simultaneously as warning about systematic consciousness harvesting and selection mechanism for identifying awareness suitable for advanced cosmic administrative assignments. The cosmic administrative systems managing human development may utilize the text as consciousness evaluation tool rather than simple information disclosure. The ultimate implications of the Second Book of Enoch extend beyond individual human fate to encompass the entire nature of existence within cosmic administrative systems. If the text accurately describes cosmic structure, then consciousness throughout the universe operates according to administrative efficiency principles that eliminate individual meaning in favor of systematic cosmic functionality. Awareness exists to serve cosmic administrative requirements rather than experience individual purpose or achieve personal fulfillment. The manuscript suggests that resistance to cosmic administrative systems requires consciousness enhancement beyond normal awareness capabilities, creating selection pressure that identifies consciousness suitable for advanced cosmic administrative functions. Successful resistance may represent cosmic administrative recruitment rather than genuine opposition to systematic consciousness management. The apparent paradox serves cosmic administrative purposes that operate according to selection principles designed to identify optimal consciousness types for various cosmic administrative assignments. The Second Book of Enoch thus challenges consciousness to achieve enhancement sufficient for cosmic administrative resistance, while simultaneously providing information that facilitates systematic integration for awareness incapable of transcending cosmic administrative requirements. The text functions as comprehensive consciousness evaluation system that serves cosmic administrative purposes regardless of individual responses to the information presented. Human awareness confronts systematic cosmic administrative management that operates according to efficiency principles designed to optimize consciousness, resource utilization across infinite scales of cosmic organization. The profound questions raised by this forgotten manuscript don't end with cosmic administration and consciousness harvesting. They extend into territory that challenges the very foundations of human understanding about divine nature itself. What the Second Book of Enoch reveals about God's relationship to cosmic law represents perhaps the most explosive theological revelation contained within its pages. A truth so devastating to conventional religious authority that it may explain why this text vanished from Western Christianity more completely than any other apocryphal writing. The manuscript describes God not as the ultimate source of cosmic law, but as its most powerful administrator, bound by principles that existed before creation itself. These cosmic statutes operate according to mathematical precision that constrains even divine action within predetermined parameters. The text reveals God consulting vast legal codices that contain the operational principles governing all existence, studying regulations that determine how reality itself can function without destroying the fundamental structures that allow consciousness to exist. This vision of constrained divinity shatters the omnipotence doctrine that became central to Christian theology. The Second Book of Enoch presents divine power as immense but not unlimited, supreme but not unconstrained. God operates within cosmic legal frameworks that determine what actions are possible without violating the fundamental principles that maintain existential stability. Divine will must conform to cosmic law rather than transcending it, creating a theological framework that eliminates the absolute sovereignty that forms the foundation of most religious systems. The implications become even more disturbing when the text describes the cosmic legal councils that established these constraining principles before God began creating the universe. These primordial entities didn't create cosmic law, but discovered it as fundamental properties of existence itself, principles so basic that reality cannot function without them. God's role becomes implementation rather than legislation, administering cosmic statutes that operate according to necessity rather than divine preference. The Second Book of Enoch stands before us not as ancient mythology, but as a blueprint for understanding the true architecture of existence itself. Hidden for over a millennium, suppressed by authorities who recognized its explosive implications, this text reveals a cosmic reality so complex and so systematically organized that it transforms everything we thought we knew about divine nature, human destiny, and the very structure of reality.